Hi, hello there! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. DB333, and welcome back to Hearts 4 Kaiserreich as. Well, now, the People's Polish Republic. Well, the Polish People's Republic, rather. In the last video, we overthrew the reigns of our German overlords. And right now, we're trying to shackle the Senate just a wee bit. It is admittedly a very precarious situation that we're in, since we're not outwardly syndicalists yet, but we've still left the Reich Pact. And I do wonder if that is going to result in anything. Take a look at the world. Central America has formed a syndicalist Central America. Interesting. Colombia has gone syndicalist as well. Venezuela is Sochdem, but something similar, I don't know. Mexico is in the Entente, which is pretty big. But it looks like the Syndics are going to win. I mean, they have almost a massive encircle along the Mississippi. So I would be very surprised at this point unless Canada directly intervenes. Which it doesn't look like they are going to, although I've been wrong before, and I'm likely going to be wrong many more times in my life. But yeah, I think... Ooh. This is going to be a very peculiar situation that we're in. The German answer was more agreeable than we expected. They often negotiate in good faith the future relationship between Germany and the Republic of Poland, abandoning all demands of restoration of the monarchy. German demands are simple. The Republic considered itself bound to all the treaties of the kingdom, including Mitteleuropa and the Reich Pact membership. All privileges enjoyed by Germans in Poland shall continue to be enforced, though the Comrat can be dissolved due to its irrelevance to the Republican form of government. All in all, the deal is relatively good, though there are many among our supporters who would see renewal of these agreements as a giving up on the fruits of our revolution. Asking for Austrian negotiation to make the deal better is also on the table, however, but then again, the Austrian direction does have its opponents too. Let's ask Austria to intervene on our behalf. Ooh, Rome has fallen, oh shit. Oh? Oh man, and the Two Sicilies is not enough faction at all. We're going to get a pretty quick Italian reunification, just about. Well, did you look at that? The treaty was signed today in Krakow, stipulating lines between Vienna and the Republic in government in Warsaw. The treaty is celebrating both Poland and Galicia and is an act of liberation from German overlordship, but is not wholly unwelcome in Berlin either. At least the treaty promises to maintain a semblance of stability in the region. The new Republic of Poland shall keep many of her obligations to Germany and many other nations in the Reich Pact, including free passage troops. However, it still marks a decisive break from German control of Polish affairs and a major increase of Vienna's importance to the European theater. Glasses are raised all across the Austrian Empire to celebrate the victory of liberty, finally free from Berlin's gaze. And we have joined Austria's faction, which is very interesting, I gotta say. I don't know if I entirely hate this, honestly. I don't think we're gonna stick in it for longer, especially if there's a general strike happening soon. Although this is only going to really kick off if we go to war for the Internationale, which might not happen for a hot minute. So that makes me think we have a very good opportunity here. Potentially. To just kind of sit on our laurels. Because Austria doesn't join for a while, at least. So I think that means... yeah, we're just kind of chilling for a while. So, if... well, probably when the Austrians end up intervening, we'll kick off a socialist revolution. Or a syndicalist revolution, rather. Egypt versus those guys. Very peculiar. Very interesting. We can get some political advisors. We have a Bundist. That's actually extra political power. That's pretty good. I'll get Henrik Ehrlicht. We have Shackle the Senate. Next, I think we'll go ahead and do... Where's the focus? Here we are. We'll go down democracy and transparency. Democracy is not just something which can be enacted in laws. It is something which must be built up in the minds of the population by making them think democratically, understanding and respecting civil and political liberties as a core part of their lives. They'll be able to foster our democratic system into something which can exist organically, with full consent from the people. Why not? Why not? And it looks like finally, this war is going to end. Although Serbia might fall before that happens, which would be interesting. What's gonna fall first, Sofia or Serbia? That is my question. As soon as the cabinet assembled, the popular provisional president, Norbert Barlecki, declared that proper SEM elections for the president would be arranged, as his right's position was by mere chance. Despite his popularity, he is right. A proper vote is needed to ascertain the president's popularity and suitability for the whole country, not just a ruling government. However, thanks to a quite strong majority of PPS and PS on the SEM, there's less need to compromise with the right, though they will certainly block some more radical candidates. Barlecki is an obvious man for the job, but some would rather elect an older, more traditional and bipartisan politician, such as Wojciechowski, having secured respect of wider Polish society and not just the left. As a dark horse for the election, Jan Wasnicki has been put forward as a charismatic compromise candidate. His former membership in the National Democrats could win some goodwill from the right. And there's also this guy who's something, I guess. We'll go with Stanislav Wojciechowski. Get some extra bonuses. We'll go ahead and get a, looks like Vladislav Anders. He seems to be our guy for armor. Now, since we don't have Mr. Guderian in anymore. We really have a little bit less pressure to do really a lot, I think. Oh, today the father of Polish nationalism, Roman Dmowski, faded away, taken by poor health. He has spent his last 20 years in exile in London, Paris, and eventually Moscow. As leader of a national committee, he was effectively the leader of Polish exiles in Russia, and his publications were rarely read even in Poland, despite the best attempts of the government. Now that the grand old man who had essentially defined national democracy's ideology for half a century's past, the vultures are already circling. The Council of the National Defense League, the ruling body being Deshka's political organization in exile, is already trying to decide on a person who could be as unifying as Dmowski was, had been, with no avail. The worst divide in the movement had grown between the so-called young and old guards. The old guards were predominantly Christian nationalists, as Dmowski intended, while the young guards were more inspired by populist and violent methods of Boris Savinkov and the NRPR. Kaduz's Bilecki's bid for power was blocked by the young guard, as Dmowski's longtime secretary and right-hand man was seen as too conservative and moderate for the exiles. Jan Mosdorf, spokesman of Young Guard, argued that as the international situation grows more dire, the National League needs bolder, more violent action, as opposed to the earlier underground activism. To solve the conundrum, Adam Dubnitsky presented himself as the middle ground. He is persona non grata in Poland. He left Poland some years ago after his raid on Myslinki made him forever infamous at home. He is somewhat of an outsider with strong Christian nationalist convictions, but also many unorthodox ideas for a follower of Dmowski. Despite that, he seems to be accepted by both the old and young guards as a man who can lead the movement back to glory. But he has large boots to fill, rather. Let's improve infantry equipment early. What childish fantasy. The politicians and organizations associated with the internet partisan political circle and its allied parties found themselves in a free fall after the king was overthrown. Many older politicians retired from politics, and and more are trying to explain away their earlier support for the monarchy. In this radical realignment, the surviving parties are doing their best to fill the void. Many defected to the PSL, and even more into the conservative parties, or even the OZN. OZN. Why am I saying Z? A small centrist liberal party, the Pulse Center, has been founded on the smoldering ruins of a circle. Are we with the social... We are. And well, the People's Party will welcome them, I guess. But yeah. The Entente winning the first Feldkrieg? Are you kidding me? Childish fantasy. Great Syrian Revolt. Doesn't look so great for the Ottomans. And the Armenians. The Armenians have a focus tree now, right? Well, we've had one for a while, I think. Yep, would you look at that? I think that is pretty cool, personally. Anyway. The great Modlin Fortress, some 50 kilometers north of Warsaw, has been one of Europe's greatest defensive structures for a century now. It was modernized and expanded greatly during the Russian rule, when it was known as Novogorodiansk, the symbol of Russian might looming over Warsaw like a barrel of a gun. The Germans captured the fortress complex with almost no fighting in 1950, and after briefly serving as a barracks, it was left to become obsolete as further fortifications were focused to the east, not north. However, the fortress is perfectly suited to renovation, while fixed fortifications do not serve as impregnable walls as we did in the past. Sufficiently armed fortresses can still cover Warsaw's northern flank and to delay the enemy greatly. General Major Zbigniew Andronovics has put forward a plan to modernize the bunkers of Modlin Fortress and install modern anti-air and anti-tank emplacements. Better safe than sorry, I say. And we got a new division. I want to see if we can't quite train 3 at a time, but that's what I will aspire to do. Really just lacking rifles at this point. Let's get improved artillery going. Yeah. You know, I take it back. I don't know what the fuck's going on in the Balkan Wars anymore. I don't know. They start to be doing good, then they stop doing good. It's... God, I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and do... I'm going to save real quick, in case this goes horribly wrong. Then we're going to shoot for the union with Krakow. Krakow, the old royal capital of Poland, lies just beyond our border along with the rest of Galicia. This origin of the partition is entirely artificial and forced by the Austrians and Germans rather than Poles. With the election of a more liberal government, there have been increased calls to unite with the region, which has long been a shelter for Democrats and Republicans. It's not easy, as any such union relies on the consent of Berlin and Vienna. I don't know about Berlin. Vienna, perhaps. Are they winning? Who's winning? Who's losing? I do not know. I can tell you who's losing in Italy, though. The reactionaries. Am I right, my fellow revolutionaries? I don't even know if I'm going to be going syndicalist at this rate. I wouldn't mind it, honestly. I think I'm okay if I go syndicalist or if I go non-Cindy. If I just stay with the Republic. Because this is actually kind of fun, too. This is alright. They're doing their deal with Hungary. Excuse me. Oh god, yeah, we really got good timing on this because they're working on integrating these guys. During the election, the central parties focused on corruption and the pro-business lobby. Now they're in power, some anti-corruption investigations have been launched already. There are also plans for nationalizations. Collectively, they are making the members of Luvastan, an association of Polish investor-industrialists, understandably wary of the new government. Some of the Luvastan leadership, such as Warsaw-based banker Czesław Klarner, have announced their intention to fund the opposition parties as a protest to the irresponsible economic actions of our current government. However, in most public channels, Luvastan's contacts suggested that perhaps some kind of compromise could be reached, and with sufficient freedoms given, they could support the government, just like they previously supported the last MKP-led iteration. We will be incorruptible. Get them out of here with that corrupt shit. We don't want it here. It would be nice to take Krakow back, honestly. Oh! Oh, would you look at that? A Polish legionary, Wilhelm Feldman, once said, "Whoever wants to get to know the soul Poland, let him look at it for it in Krakow." And today that soul is ecstatic. A day of national celebration was declared on the 26th of March, 1939. The date that would be remembered as the day of a reunion between Poland and Krakow. Red and white flags were flown around the former Austrian partition. Overjoyed crowds gathered over the ancient Wawel Cathedral, coronation sites of Polish kings of old. Among the speakers of the celebration today were President Ministers Stanislaw Dubois, the Archbishop Adam Safia, and the famous composer Ignacy Jan Paderewski. Look at that. We got a bunch of generals and advisors. Holy shit. We now have... God, there's so much going on. We don't have... Yeah, well, welcome back, brothers. Austria has agreed to cede us all of Eastern Galicia, even non-Polish regions in the very south. The news was received with joy, and the borders of control removed and one of the many partitions were undone. As for the Ukrainian issue, they are granted regional autonomy, as was the Austrian demand. They shall still have their own regional parliaments and delegates in the Sem, and they shall enjoy all of the same freedoms they enjoyed under the Austrian, the Habsburg monarchy. Wait. Oh my God. We got all of Galicia. Oh my God. Oh man. I gotta be for real with you guys. I think I love Austria. I fucking love being in the Austrian alliance. This shit is awesome. Oh man. I'm not gonna lie, the lack of Polish economic independence does kind of suck, because we did lose all those extra factory slots. But no compromise is gonna be perfect and all that stuff. And if I'm guessing if we do go syndicalist, we might just lose that. Okay, that's interesting. We can integrate these regions eventually. We just need to wait. God, I think that means we got to root for the Bulgarians now. Because if these guys win, the Belgrade Pact is going to go after us. At least Romania will. And that would be kind of cringe. We're just going to avoid that. Nationalize the infrastructure or the vital sectors. Or we could just hold off on that. I think we'll go ahead and we'll start with the Chamber of Labor. Yeah. Believing the nascent urban working class to be the future of the Polish economy, there are many within the more urban cohorts of our government who believe working to better their conditions should be core to our reforms. One of the first ideas is to create a chamber of labor which would represent the interests of all workers in Poland and would fight to improve their circumstance. Sure. Man, I love this shift that I've done. I started the series thinking, we're going to rise against them, fuck the reactionaries, and now I fucking love the reactionaries. God, I love them. I fucking love you, Carl. I fucking love you, man. Carl's the GOAT. No cap. No cap. Not even the remotest hint of cap. We get extra troops now too. Look at that. Jeez, we have a full ass army now. And we have extra. We have leftover now. Go for Becky. Man, you guys just gotta hug it out over here. That's really what you gotta do. The 8th edition of famed Polish Code of Honor by Captain Vladislav Bosevich has been published. In it, the author is trying to modernize many aspects of traditional dueling. Technically, the practice is illegal, but that does not stop dueling remaining popular, particularly among Polish and Prussian officers and students, especially due to men like Josip Pilsudski and Boleslav Wieniawa Długozowski being known for their penchant for dueling. In his Code of Honor, Bosiewicz has formulated the rules for honorable dueling, the different degrees or insults to be used, and other general guidelines for honorable behavior. As part of modernizing the rules, he has widened the definition of a gentleman from just nobility to any person by education or important social function. A peasant who holds a scene vissem is thus considered as just as honorable as a nobleman. He's also clear in a straight prohibition of dueling with the intent to kill, and makes many other guidelines in increasing the safety of the otherwise risky pastime. A gentleman is nothing but his honor. We have some extras. Got some more light tanks, I guess. The revolutionary mood is spreading soon, though, so that's going to complicate things a little bit. But right now, let's no wait, I want to get working on integrating these regions. Let's integrate Lvov. Krakota actually doesn't have too much in the way of factories, but we can change that. Work on more civilian industry, and then we'll get working on some military factories. So I want to build some kind of in this general core area. That's what I'll call it, the core industrial area of Poland. That might actually be what it is. I mean, the central industrial area. I think that's more Warsaw specifically. Socialist Venezuela, who would have thought? Let's do land reform. Yeah. Land reform has been the key economic and social question for our nation, and it's one our government must attempt to solve as a part of our more peasant-focused reforms. Our plan envisions a careful but comprehensive reform of land usage within our nation, which will allow many to actually access land, which they work so hard to make productive. where do I want to move these guys? These guys are going to have to be on the German. Actually, German-Lithuanian border, yeah. They could also end up getting ratioed, but we need to have some sort of defense. We're going to edit that. Yeah, you guys go there. You guys can go there for now. And the rest of you guys are going to have to wait till the next video to see what we end up doing. Because I got to end it there. But thanks for watching, gang. Like, dislike if you didn't. Leaving comments down in the comment section below. I read all the comments, get appreciated all feedback. If you want to keep up to date with these uploads, go ahead and hit the sub button. Maybe even hit the notification bell if you really want to keep up to date. And check out my various links down in the description box below. That's it for now, my friends. I thank you for watching. My name has been Mr. Dogboat333. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye now.